When we're ready to start using the service contracts entity inside of Alert Stratus, there are a handful of CRM and Alert Stratus configurations that need to be made so that we can really get the best value out of this entity. So when I open up one of my service contracts here, the main form of my service contracts is mainly just the account and contact information that we need to have pre-configured. So as I go down this form, I can see that I need to set up my CRM accounts, addresses, and contacts. Again, I have my bill to information, so it's my accounts, address, and contacts. I want to make sure I'm setting up my products, particularly if I'm going to be billing for products. It's actually very common that people like to have contract billing as the product here on my contracts, so I can better track the quantity of contracts that I'm perhaps selling to my customers. We want to make sure we have all of our CRM price levels and price lists configured in this system, so the system knows what price list to look at for the particular contract or customer. Also want to make sure we're setting up our CRM currency. So if we're really just working in one type of currency, we'll just make sure we have this one set up. Next, I want to make sure that I'm configuring each one of my individual users. So if I want to have just more detail of these users and add their contact information and their addresses and so on, you can further configure these users to provide that level of detail. So next from here we have the individual contract lines, and this is where you're going to see more of the Alert Stratus configurations that need to be made versus the CRM configurations that need to be made. So from here, once again, we have our account and our address and our contacts. Depending on how we're setting up our service contract lines, so if I'm going to be selling products, so either products of labor or particular items that we're going to be billing as part of a service contract, we want to make sure we have those CRM products configured in the system. If we're doing a service contract that's related to a piece of account equipment, we want to make sure that we're setting up the account equipment records so that we have all the particular details we need for the service contract. So as part of the account equipment, we'll have our CRM products that need to be configured. If we're using warranty dates as part of the service tracking that we're doing, we want to make sure that we have our different service and coverage codes set up in the system so that, for example, if something is under warranty, we want to set up a non-billable support type of service code. We want to ensure that we have that created. And then once again, we want to make sure we have our CRM accounts, addresses, and contacts configured in the system. So as previously mentioned, we do want to make sure we have our service codes and our coverage codes configured. Again, this is not a required field here on the form, but it might be nice to have that if, as part of the service contract, they'll be entitled to some type of support within a certain period. It's nice to have that configured here on the service contract line. Now the next section, if this is applicable for our business, if we want to be tracking the subcontractor details on the service contract, we want to make sure that we set up the vendor details here at the account level so that we can better track all of our subcontractor costs so that we can get a better idea of what our margins are on this particular contract. So when we're ready to start making these configurations to the system, you can rely on the Alert Stratus setup documentation, which is available on the Alert Stratus website. You can also go back to the self-paced learning section on the site and take a look at the Alert Stratus setup area where you can watch short demonstration videos for setting up each of these components inside of both CRM and Alert Stratus.